from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Want to thank all of our listeners that we have not only here in central and upstate New York, but up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and internationally. We appreciate you for listening into Wake Up Call, and being on the internet means we could be everywhere you are, and we appreciate you taking some time with us. Every Wednesday, speaking of taking time with us, Coach Q is here, Syracuse Orange women's basketball head coach, every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time during the season, and we're happy to have him back this week. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing fantastic, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And Q, first and foremost, we had a little heat wave here in Syracuse. How'd you handle that?
Man, we break out the shorts and the flip-flops. I didn't know what to do. It was fantastic. It was good, man. Can't complain. It was great.
Hey, you got to enjoy it while we got it, right? Because it was 30 degrees right after that.
There's no question, and it brought us back to reality. Like, don't get out of hand here, right?
Yeah, but I heard. What is it? Punxsutawney Phil. He did not see his shadow, so allegedly we're supposed to have a shorter winter now.
That's right. We're done here. That's good. I look forward to it, actually.
So speaking of, so we look at, kind of like warming up, heating up, and whatnot. The team went on a 2-game losing streak at Georgia Tech and home against Miami. You and I spoke about that. And then you went on the road and defeated Duke 64-55, and then just had your home matchup against Virginia on January 31st, almost a week ago to today. Won that game 72-68. Just what you can say about, where the team is right now. You were on a 9-game winning streak, lost 2, and now you're back to a 2-game winning streak here. Just what you've seen the team do in these last couple games.
Well, at the end of the day, it's about just being healthy, first of all, and playing hard. And our kids are really playing at a really high level, and they're playing really hard. They're doing a really good job of just, maintaining their intensity and their will. And at this time of year, it really comes out of that. How hard are you going to play? And if your kids are losing interest, and our kids definitely aren't, they understand where we are, and they're playing at a really high level right now.
And we're looking at what you have coming up here, and by no stretch of the imagination. I mean, we look at the ACC, and this conference has definitely put together some tremendous teams here, not only inside of the conference, but also, on top of the rankings nationally in the top 25 overall. And what we're looking at right now is Louisville is ranked 2 in the nation in the AP top 25 and in the coaches poll. What are your thoughts on your upcoming matchup? Just what you can say about Louisville, which will be on the road on February 7th, which is tomorrow for all of you listening live, against the number 2 ranked team in the nation.
Well, it's a great opportunity. Obviously, when you go down and play a team of that caliber, you look forward to the competition. It's a great chance for us to go in there and get a quality win on the road. We understand that they're a very tough team, but we are super excited to be able to get them on the road, which will be a great win for our RPI and for our season, and just have a chance to compete in front of a great college atmosphere.
When you see a team like the Louisville Cardinals, they faced off against top 20 Arizona State and took them down by just a couple points. They defeated Kentucky by 5, also another ranked team. And then they went up against FSU and Connecticut and beat both of those teams ranked in the top 25. And then their only top 25 loss is to Notre Dame, 82-68. So 4-1 against the nation's top 25. What can you say about, what the Cardinals have put together this year? I know you said it's a big game. You're excited to get out there to Kentucky and see what you guys can, what this team can do. But overall, just what you could say about the body of work that the Louisville Cardinals have put together this year.
Well, they're a very good team, and if you look at who they have on their roster, they just have a lot of players that have big game experience, and it's hard to replace that. And that's one thing that they're doing a really good job of. They're doing a good job with their continuity. They're doing a really good job of playing their veterans the bulk of the minutes. And the luxury that he has he has that this year, just like we had in the year with the championship game. So that pays a great dividends down the stretch.
And when you look at, kind of how things have stacked up this season, just what you could say about a women's basketball, being a women's basketball coach overall, speaking here with Quentin Hillsman, Coach Q, many of you know him as for Syracuse Orange women's basketball. Just, as a head coach of women's basketball, to see Notre Dame do it, and I know Notre Dame's been good, but to see them rise a little bit more, to see Louisville definitely rise, and to see UConn, I'm not going to say fall, but not be the undefeated UConn that we're used to seeing all the time, just what that does for women's basketball.
Well, at the end of the day, it's in cycles, and it's funny because you hear people, go in about, UConn's losing, and at the end of the day, it's really about players. I mean, you have to have good players now. If you are a good coach with good players, it helps, and it comes down to having the right blend of players, having some veteran players, and maybe having some young talent. But right now, it's really comes down to that. You got to have the right balance of players, and right now, there's just a lot of parity in women's basketball.
And we look at, Louisville on the other side of it, down the sideline from you, so to speak. Jeff Walls is going to be there. Just what you can say about, what he's done.
Well, Jeff has done a really good job of just getting his people to understand that, playing hard is important and supporting is important, and every piece of the puzzle matters. And there's one thing that he's done a very good job of, and that's one thing that we talk about here a lot, is just making sure that we're in a position to where we can put things together and play at a certain level and play at a certain rate, and have everyone involved that touches our program.
This coming once again from Coach Q, Syracuse Orange women's basketball head coach. Coach, not only do you have Louisville, but coming up you're also going to have Notre Dame. That game's going to be at home, another top 5 team. To know that, to end out this February as you get set for the ACC tournament in March, just what you could say about the fact that, this team, your team, is going to be tested by many teams, including 2 of the top 5 teams in the nation. Just what, that knowing that this is the home stretch and knowing that you're going to have to go up against 2 teams that have definitely gotten a lot of exposure, a lot of attention, and a lot of positive accolades as of late.
Well, this is the time of year where you want to be playing well, and we're definitely playing well. So I'm excited about that. And just what we talked about is being able to play well at the right time. And we're playing well at the right time, and obviously, you had the little two game hiccup, and the reality of the matter is, during that time, half our team had the flu. We had the flu. We had strep throat. Miranda got nicked up. So those 2 games, it came at a time to where we weren't healthy. And obviously, I never said that during that time, made any excuses, and still not making that excuse. But when we got back healthy and we got our lineup back in place, we're playing well. We saw what happened.
And we're looking at a team in Syracuse, 17-4 overall at the time of our conversation, 6-2 in the ACC, 7-1 at home, 4-3 on the road, 6-0 on neutral court. You have a winning record everywhere you have gone, whether it's home, away, or neutral. Just what you could say about, where the team is at right now, and maybe the maturation process as compared to where you want them to be. Just where everything is at this moment in the season.
Well, we're in a good place, and I can tell you this right now. At the end of the day, you want to be in a situation where you have a chance to win. Right now, we have a chance to win, and we're so excited about the opportunity to be healthy right now, to get to a game and play against one of the top teams in the country, and we really look forward to it. We really do. Coach,
for your team, how do you kind of stay focused in the grand scheme of things? People forget all the time that there's young men and women that are these student athletes. A lot of times, still teenagers that are these student athletes. How do you corral the team and keep the team focused when there is so much hoopla, so to speak, around, who you're playing and, top 25 and bracketology and where are they here? And, there's so much around teams like Louisville and Notre Dame. Do you find it hard to kind of corral the team and get the team to have focus? Is there, jitters that maybe come in this game that don't come in other games? How do you kind of assess how the team responds to games like this?
Well, it's just about just understanding in the moment. And it's one thing that we keep talking about. This is a moment right now to we have a great opportunity to go out and win some games. And we can never lose sight of that. This is an opportunity, and we're just really happy for the opportunity. We're happy to be on the right side of the win-loss column in our conference and in our full season. So we're just ready to go, man, and ready to get this thing going.
Control the controllables, Coach. That's all you can do. So what can you tell me about what this team is doing right now, speaking on your team, and then also maybe some of the things that you want to improve as you step forward to the next game?
Well, right now it's just about our execution, doing the things that we do well all the time, and it's kind of what we're focusing on. And in the future, it's about trying to host a tournament. That's our goal, to get one of those top 16 seeds, so we can host a tournament. And we know that's the path to the Final Four and the national championship, and that's what we're looking forward to.
That coming from Coach Q here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Every single Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time during the season, you'll hear from Coach Q, and we will also be back very soon to the PressRoom Pub, Coach. So, and Coach, I gotta let you know they did a little test here, and you missed out on it. I got to try it out. The Chef Frank had maple bacon bourbon wings, and he gave them to me to test out. And I will tell you right now, I think they would take it to the honey mustard ones.
Well, I can tell you right now, maple, bourbon, and bacon, nothing can be bad about that. So I agree. It can't be bad.
That coming from Coach Q. Well, obviously, Coach, be safe in your travels and a lot of success. Hopefully, we can have some good news as you come back home, and we'll look forward to speaking with you here on the show, and then also bringing you back out to the community to have the fans get to speak to one of the best coaches in women's basketball.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.